So back, of course, talking FF7, we're talking Rebirth. Today we're here to talk about the demo, or I guess when it comes to Rebirth specifically, there's two demos, which is kind of interesting. And kind of when we might see them. And it's kind of interesting that we're already going to do a demo discussion video today, and then I've seen on Twitter a little bit of kind of confusion involving the demos when it comes to Rebirth, because Square Enix was tweeting out on the Japanese FF7 account about like demos over there in Japan, but it was about Jump Festa. But people were kind of confusing it, thinking that there was like, I guess just demos for Japan only or something. It was kind of weird. They dropped this tweet like hours ago at this point, talking about the two demos and how you can like jump between them tomorrow during like the trial period. Obviously tomorrow is Jump Festa. But I'd seen multiple people like in the replies and quote tweeting and like tagging like Audrey and stuff and like asking about whether or not this is like a demo for Japan only or something like that. But it's like they provide a link in the tweet that takes you to like the Square Enix page for like their Jump Festa stuff. You don't have to like translate the page to see that it's like Jump Festa. It's just kind of like a classic problem in this community where people often jump to conclusions without like looking into shit. And I'm guilty of it too sometimes, right? Like we all are. Just different things. And not even about FF7, just in general in life, right? We all jump to conclusions on shit. When it comes to the topic of demos, when it comes to Square Enix, I can't speak for all their games because obviously I don't play all their games and I don't cover all the games on the channel and stuff like that. But when it comes to Final Fantasy games, and at least in recent years, especially with like 16 for sure, because that was just the most recent, like they drop that shit like worldwide, but it's like a certain time, local time or whatever. Like they'll drop it at like, I don't know, noon Japan time, but then it's like whatever that is locally for you or something like that is when they drop demos. I don't remember what they did exactly with Remake. Remake demo dropped on like March 2nd, 2020, but I don't remember how that worked. I don't remember if it was like midnight local time or if it was like a certain time in Japan and then whatever that is locally for you. I don't remember how that worked exactly, but they generally drop the demos, you know, for everybody same time, at least with Final Fantasy. Kind of crazy too, coming off of like, you know, 16's not that old. It's like half a year old or whatever at this point. And if you played 16, you probably played the demo, of course, too. And people should know that that's how they kind of generally do shit. So I don't know why people would even jump to the conclusion that they would be dropping both demos for Rebirth in Japan and it's just fuck the rest of the world, I guess. Because they wouldn't do that, man. So, and we're so far from like the release. We're still over 2 months, like 2.5 months or so, right? Until the release of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I don't know why they dropped the demos now. Because if you look just to Remake didn't drop its demo until like about a month, a little over a month. And if we do want to look to the more recent example of Final Fantasy 16, that demo didn't drop until like 10 days before release. And that might not matter when it comes to the Remake project, of course. But still, it's kind of hard to speculate on when they might drop these demos publicly for everybody. And I don't know if they're going to drop them at the same time. Like, would they give us like the Sephiroth Cloud demo and then also like the Under Junon demo? Or would they do like one here and then like a month later, a couple weeks later, drop the other one? I don't know exactly. I don't know what they're going to do there because this is very interesting to have multiple demos. It's not the only Square Enix game to do that and not the only Final Fantasy game to do that because 15 had like 4 demos, 5 demos. Even the original FF7 actually had like 3 or 4 demos. I think one of them was just like the Monster Arena, Battle Square, whatever. But there's still like 3 or 4 demos for OG FF7. To be honest, when it came to this last trailer, a lot of us were surprised that they didn't announce the demo. Like, you don't necessarily have to drop it yet, even though all of us do want that. But they could have at least announced like a time frame, the month, or even just the date itself. Like they could have said, you know, if it's coming out sometime in January or February, they could have just given us the date or told us the month when the demos might drop. And it's kind of weird that we didn't get anything off this since we're so close to release. And it makes me wonder a little bit, and I don't want to get like the people in the community worried or anything, just about whether or not they're going to drop these. And I assume they will. I'm like 99.999% certain that they're going to drop these demos publicly. But the remake demo back in like 2019, people were seeing that it was uploaded to the PlayStation Store on like the back end and able to like get into the store somehow and like download the demo. And like, because they're able to get their hands on the full like 30-minute demo at the time, 45-minute demo, whatever it was, they're able to like get into like the game files itself. And they were like leaking like character models and all kinds of other shit, right? We've seen like Red 13 and Rufus and shit long before the trailers ever showed it to us. It makes you wonder if they got shit in place to like protect against that, or if they would maybe deter them to a certain degree. I don't know. Again, I fully expect the demos to come out to us publicly at some point, but I do wonder if they're kind of worried about, you know, things leaking. Because like I think the ending might have got leaked too potentially, or certain parts of the ending or some shit. People get into demos. I don't remember how it worked exactly. That's been a lot of years at this point. But when the demos come out, I would just be a little hesitant online, just because if there's a way for people to hack into that shit into the full game and like leak shit, they're going to, because that's just what people do. As for like a concrete idea of when the demos might drop, again, it's kind of hard to say. We talked about this a bit already in the video, but I would say for sure it's happening next year. I'd say sometime in 2024, but it's hard to know the time frame, right? Because I don't know if they're going to follow the 16 thing and drop it like closer to release, or do the remake thing and drop it like a month, 5 weeks out from release. I just don't know. I don't know if they're going to drop the demos together or separate, because this is, at least with the remake project, and even 16, I don't think had like, there's multiple things to do in the demo for 16, but there wasn't more than one demo, right? So it's hard to know what they're going to do exactly with these 2 demos. And actually, if we want to speculate a bit more on when we might see like the announcements or release dates of these demos, Looking back at the Final Fantasy 16 demo, June 12th, 2023, and looking back at the remake demo, which was March 2nd, 2020, those were both a Monday. So you can kind of look to sort of any Monday, I guess, technically going forward, but also more specifically probably January and February. But you also have the classic, January 31st, the release date of FF7 Original in Japan. So I think like any sort of Monday in the next coming months, but also January 31st. I want to throw this out too really quickly just because it's a unique thing that we have this year because it's a leap year and they have remake dropping on February 29th. They could drop the shit on February 1st, which is exactly 4 weeks before the release of the game. It'd be kind of interesting. Beginning of February, we get the demos. The end of February, we get the game. Even though I fully expect there to be nothing with Jump Festa, there's always the possibility of something being announced there, revealed there. I mean, they've had trailers there in the past for their remake project. I don't think they had a new trailer, but there was a Jump Festa, 2019 or something like that like showed like an old trailer or something, a trailer we already had out in the public or something along those lines. But there's like a history of remake being there, and obviously they're gonna be there tomorrow with the demos playable. But I don't expect there to be anything, especially since we just got a trailer. I'm very much looking forward to these demos just because like I haven't fully seen everything from them. I've seen like Max review them, but I haven't watched like a full playthrough of anybody doing either demo. And we've talked about aspects of both demos, but I haven't like fully seen the whole thing from start to end. So there's aspects of it that I don't know. I can't wait to actually play it and talk about it and discuss it with you guys. It's gonna be really exciting. So, my dudes, that is pretty much the video, so of course pass off to you guys. What do you think is going to happen with the demos? Do you think we're going to get them, but when do you expect them to come out? Are we getting them both same time? They're going to spread them out at some point? How's that going to work exactly? Whatever. Anyways, that's the video. Subscribe to channel if you guys are new. Social works in the description below. Follow me on Twitter, _YT. That's it. Bye.
Used to care what people thought, but now I care more. And nobody out here's got it figured out. So therefore, I've lost all hope of a happy ending, depending on whether or not it's worth it. So insecure, no one's perfect. We spend it with no shame. We blow that like Coltrane. We in here like Logain or leave it like Cobain.